welcome back. This is going to be part one of the Alpine ski. We're going to be taking this cabinet that was turned into rock and rope, and we're going to turn it back into an Alpine ski. Then we're going to take this rock and rope setup and put it into a newly built Tato cabinet that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be building two cabinets, one for the rock and rope and one for the Tetris. The Tetris I took out of the Frontline cabinet. I just dragged this in here, fixed my lights in here today on top of sanding all day. Luckily, when I had the power surge and the LED lights that burned out were none of the new ones that I just replaced 2 months ago, which is good. That makes me feel a lot better because I wasn't sure when I had the power surge, when the fan went bad, if it took out the new lights or if it was the old ones. So luckily it was all old ones. So that made me feel a little bit better. So anyways, this is what the cabinet looks like currently. I need to plug it in to make sure it works because once again, I have not tested it. This cabinet seems to be in a little bit better shape than the Frontline one was, which is nice. That's good. I would love to use this old artwork as a stencil, but I don't know that I'll be able to do that because there's holes and chips, and I'm just going to end up having to filler prime it and make new stencils. Now, on the front line that I did, let's take a look here a little bit closer on the side art. When I did the front line, I left about 3/4 of an inch gap, maybe a little less than that, and then I made about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 gap up here. Okay, if you notice, this is down a good inch and 1/8 maybe, and I think by doing that, that's going to get this a little bit better here because the front line turned out really good, but the gap down here was a little bit tighter and a little bit bigger up here. So I'm hoping by scooting this down a hair, I can follow this contour a little bit better. This is pretty damn good. It's just about dead on. It gets a little bit skinnier right here and a little bit fatter at the bottom. This all looks pretty consistent. It gets a little bit fatter down there. So it's not perfect. None of these are, but it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely pretty nice. Burn or something right there. To be honest with you, I haven't even looked in this cabinet. So let's take a look at it. So we got a monitor chassis falling out of the monitor, so we're definitely gonna have to prop that up there before we turn it on. Good thing I opened the back door. Well, I would have had to have anyways to get the power cord. So this is the rock and rope board. Like I said, we will be using this in a new Tato cabinet that I build. The new Tato cabinet's gonna have a back hinge door and everything just like these ones. This has a pretty nice monitor in it. It's a newer monitor. Doesn't have too much screen burn at all, which is nice. I don't believe that the Tato cabinets did anything with these serial numbers as far as if the serial number mattered on what game it was. I think it was just, they just made a bunch of cabinets and put games in them. That's my guess. This is missing a wooden block right here. So we'll make a new wooden block unless it's in the bottom of the cabinet somewhere. Somebody put that piece of wood there, we will remove. You know, the funny thing is I'm working on trying to source what I need to turn that one Tato cabinet into that pit and run that it apparently came from the factory or something like that. And another thing I was looking at, and I remember, is when I got that cabinet a couple of years ago, I had noticed that it didn't have these plastic rails on each side for the glass to sit into. There's actually a wooden rail in there, and it doesn't have a groove for the glass to slide into, which I also thought was very odd, because every single Tato cabinet I've ever done have had these plastic pieces, or somebody removed them, or they were cracked. I could show it to you real quick. I found that kind of odd as well. So I think I'm going to be all right on getting a marquee and a screen bezel. If there's anybody out there that has the art file for the CPO, please let me know if you wouldn't mind sharing it, because I would like to take that and eliminate the artwork on the center of it that the Space Dungeon has. Okay, I need to black that out, and then I need to put accelerate, direction, accelerate. Print those onto the control panel. So basically, on the control panel, everything stays as it looks on a Space Dungeon, except for it's going to say accelerate, direction, accelerate, and that's how the original one was done. Same thing with the glass. Everything stays the same for a Space Dungeon, except for these it won't say Space Dungeon. And the thing is this doesn't say Space Dungeon either. This just says insert coin, select player 1 or player 2, press button to gain speed, and skier will shut off, or will start off. So obviously this has some directions towards the skier. So what I'll probably do is, with this direction area here, is do the insert coin, select player 1 or 2, and I'll kind of just have to kind of make up my own thing of what I think it would say for that pit and run game. Let's go take a look at it real quick. I want to show you those rails. And the other thing is I found the glass that came with this, or I don't know if it came with this one or a different one. It might have came with a different one, so I'm not going to say yes or no, but it is a Tato glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the paint off of this glass. I'm going to reuse this tempered glass, and I'm going to do a reverse print and stick it to the back of the glass, so that I can take, you know, I mean, then that'll look good. So basically, if I take this glass out of here, that's not cracking in the glass, that's actually cracking in the paint that they spray painted it with. So if you look here, there's wooden rails, and clearly that's how the cabinet came. So that's another indication as to this being different. Now, whether or not there were other cabinets with wooden rails, I don't know. If anybody has a Tato cabinet with wooden side rails, please let me know. I'd also like to know about that. Is that another modification they did at some point? Possibly. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting, because I remember getting this cabinet years ago, and I noticed that was like one of the main things I noticed was they were wood, which I thought was strange. And also this wooden lip here, which is busted right there. I'll have to fix that. But this wooden lip is not like this on the regular cabinets. There's a metal that goes here. You'll see it on the Alpine ski. Actually, you can see it right here on this one. It has this metal that goes here, and this board is a totally different design than this board right here. This is flat. This is like an L-shaped piece of wood. So it's definitely very, very strange. This whole entire cabinet is just strange. So yes, if there's anybody out there that has the file for this, please, and are willing to share it with me, I would really, really appreciate it, because I can print it at that point. That's not an issue. So I want to save everything on the artwork file that is Space Dungeon, and then I'm just going to add the accelerate, direction, and accelerate, and that'll be all I need to do to it. This I'll fix. I'll weld this in, drill another hole for the joystick. We'll fill in all the holes that are not supposed to be there. All right, let me see if I can prop this chassis up, and we'll plug it in real quick. Then I'm going to eat dinner, and we are going to rip this thing apart like we do every cabinet, every Tato cabinet, right down to the empty cabinet. And then we're going to take the cabinet apart to do it properly, because I do like doing it like that. So first I need to figure out is, it's got one screw in it. And actually I think it's going to be okay. If I just leave it like that, I think it's going to be just fine. It's not touching on any metal. Now I don't know if this thing is, okay, it's not powering on. Is there a interlock switch? Yes. Okay, didn't do anything. There is a front interlock switch, possibly. Yes. Still nothing. I hear it. Okay. See if something comes up on the screen. I'm not seeing an LED light on the power supply, but that doesn't mean, I don't know if there is an LED light or not. This might not work. I can hear the monitor. Could just be the power supply too. Yeah, some real nice wiring. We got neck glow, so I think the power supply shot, which is fine. I'm not going to go ahead and mess with it right now. We'll just get it taken apart, and I just need to remember that we need to get a new power supply on here. I don't want to go putting a new one on right now because it's pretty hokey, the wiring. Let's take a look at the wiring. So the wiring going into the power supply is literally just a bunch of wires shoved in there, no connectors on the end or anything like that. We got some tape grabbing power from there. It's poorly done, but that's fine. We'll just get this thing gutted and we will worry about it later. I usually like to try to see if they work, but I don't feel like fiddling with that crappy wiring and stuff right now. So I'm gonna grab some dinner, come out here, and we're gonna knock this thing out and get it ready to start doing body work. It'll be nice getting this one wrapped up, and then I'll be on to building those two other ones. So I'll be back in a little bit, guys. Thanks for watching so far. All right, guys, let's get this thing torn apart. See if we run into any weird things. Right off the bat, somebody put flathead screws into the marquee bracket. We'll change these out for some different ones. And a nut just fell off on the inside, so apparently they put nuts and bolts on these. We'll definitely be putting T-nuts in there, and somebody had suggested on the last video, and I never thought of this, when you put the T-nut on, use a clamp or a pair of vice grips to push it into the wood, which is a really good idea. Something I never thought to try or to do. Now I just gotta see if I can get these out without having to try to reach around. That one actually might have a T-nut in that one. I think what they did, if there is a T-nut, it probably got stripped out, or they re-threaded it with these. Tell you what, this is extremely heavy. Holy crap. That's a thick piece of glass. That's a good solid 1/4 inch piece of glass right there. And no T-nuts. They were just regular nuts somebody put on there. Just gonna throw these away. We're gonna use the right, correct way of doing this. Gotta get this thing all blown apart, get all the parts moved around, so that we can get the body work done and get this thing into paint. Hopefully sooner than later, so I can get on to building 2 new ones. Hopefully the weather gets better and I can actually do something outside. All right, I'm gonna have to grab a, hey, stink bug. I'm gonna have to grab a little bucket for these screws because there's no coin box in this one. Or there's the coin box holder, but no coin box. We're pretty much doing the same thing we do on all these games. Tear them apart. This one doesn't have a latch. Control panel's not latched. least it's got plugs. Save this control panel. It's going to go right onto the new one that I built. All right, pull this out. So far, this cabinet seems to be a little bit nicer than the last one. The base is screwed up, but that's pretty much all these ones are. Okay, so the coin door has two extra, oh, they ran new power wires for the lights. I wonder why. That's weird. Oh, they zip tied it. Grab a pair of side cuts real quick. I've had people mention here and there about getting a microphone so that you guys can hear me better. I've tried several microphones, and the app I'm using to record the videos, the microphone won't work on it. I need to find another way, another app to use or something to record so that I can use a microphone. It's not like I don't want to use one, I just haven't found one that works. I bought like 3 different sets of them and nothing has worked. So I'm going to look into doing that at some point. I know a lot of these videos are identical and they probably are boring, but you know, I do a lot of things the same way because let's just say you're not into watching all the videos I make, but let's say you have an Alpine ski and you want to restore your Alpine ski. Well, you know, watch my video and you'll see how I'm doing it. Doesn't mean you have to do it like I'm doing it, but you know, it gives you ideas. And they might, you know, somebody who's doing this might not be interested in watching other of my videos. So I repeat myself a lot just for the simple fact of that. You know, somebody possibly might not be interested in any other videos. This wiring harness we need to save so that we can put it into the new cabinet that I'm making. Need 3/8, I think. Seven 16ths. I was wrong. I think the angle brackets are 7/16 or 3/8. I think that's what it was. Another coin door that's in really good shape. It's actually really nice. Like another one I'm not going to pull all apart because it just doesn't need it. Just needs a little touch-up paint on the outside. Even the coin return buttons are nice in that one. Back. Let's get the back door off. Get that out of the way. There's some big ass long screws we need to get out of here. They're like sharp as nails. I'm gonna get those out now before I poke myself again. Oh, the door stayed open for once. Is rock and rope an actual Tato game by chance? I don't know. I'm actually curious because the wiring harness kind of looks like it. No, it's Konami. Never played the game. But we will once we get it up and running. Okay, looks like the back door is ready to come off. What the heck? Oh, there's a thing in the way. Get this out of the way. Once again, we're missing the lock bar, which is a very common thing. So this one has the metal bar in here, and that's definitely an odd looking bar. I don't think I have a game that has one of those in it. This is gonna be the first one. this is what it looks like. I should probably get some steel and duplicate that. This glass slid out of here, if I can. These are another extremely hard thing to find, which I still need to find another one of these. At least one. I could use two for a vertical. The vertical ones are different than the horizontal. The horizontal ones have a pocket the whole way. The vertical ones only have a little pocket like this. I do need a couple vertical ones. If anybody has one they're willing to sell. You know, I meant to bring out my other tripod and I forgot it. So this has the wiring that goes to the light bulbs to light up the instruction card. So this is what it looks like. They just mount right here. They slide on with these little clips. And that's all it is. Somebody spliced into it for the coin door wiring, which we're going to fix that. All right, I think let's get the monitor out of here. Kind of working our way down now. Need to unplug the power to the monitor. Well, that one bolts out already. It's in there, but it's slid up. Have to cut some more stencils here in a couple days. We got speakers. Those are some small nuts on these ones. Very small. That is weird. Never saw ones that small. It's like a 3 millimeter. We're getting there pretty quick, guys. Tell you what, that's got to be the hardest, most awkward position for a switch. They got to cram so far up into the corner. Got a ground wire. Apparently, at one point they were using this. I believe that's almost like a Williams style power supply. I don't even know what that would have been for, but it's not being used. Okay, Phillips bit, and then a 5/16, and we'll get that power brick out of there. That looks like an original bolt for the marquee. Here's the nut that was missing for the one of the monitor bolts. only have the speakers left to get out, and then we're ready to unbolt the cabinet. All right, you know what? Since those speaker nuts are such a weird size, let's just take the cabinet apart and deal with the speakers once the speaker panel is removed from the cabinet. I think that might be a little bit easier. Missing a carriage bolt. Somebody clearly painted in the cabinet because the inside of these brackets are painted black. So like somebody came through and spray painted for some reason. Now, when I take this cabinet apart, I want to take measurements of the front panel and stuff for those rabbet joints so that I can duplicate that when I build the new ones. Yeah, a couple brackets left up top. All right. kind of just not fast forwarding tonight. Just kind of want to show the whole thing. I think I fast forward the last one. Not positive though. This has texture key molding on it. Will it stay? Nope. It's all right. Didn't hurt anything. Oh, this one has screws in it. Fancy. I did not know that. Last ones had angle brackets that were stapled in. Forgot my rubber mallet in the back room. Had to use my drill because I didn't want to run back there and leave this unattended, and probably would have fell over and broke or something. Looks like somebody put some screws in the bottom, into the side, or from the side into the bottom. Nails. Big suckers. Look at them bad boys. Once again, we will be making new bottom pieces. As you can see how horribly rotted those are. So we'll be making a new one of those. It's just a bunch of garbage. The rest of the angle brackets off of this top piece. Alright, I'm going to pop these plastic pieces out. I like to pop them out so that when I paint, it just looks a little nicer. Because a lot of times if you don't pop out these channels and you sand in here, what ends up happening is you hit it with the sander and it gouges it up and it makes it look like crap. These ones are stapled in. The last set was not stapled in. Cracked a little bit. I'm going to take off that wooden block that somebody put on there. This tripod's falling apart by the minute. Beautiful. All right, the only thing that's left is the speakers with the oddly small nuts on them. I don't even think I have a socket that size. Yeah, I probably do actually. This is a 7/32. Like, how the hell did they even get them on? Looks like it's one size bigger than 7/32. Well, I guess it would be a 1/4 inch. Unless it's metric, which that's always a possibility. Now the 1/4 inch fits on here. We're going to change those nuts to bigger ones. Those are way too small. Wow, it's got baby Phillips screws in the 2 corners of the metal even. Why did they do so many variations when they built these things? It's just odd. That's how you gotta take those little screws out before you can get the two nuts out, the carriage bolts. Now I'm curious about the one I have back there that has those wooden rails on the sides. Did they actually make some like that? So maybe when we put this cabinet back together, we'll put the speaker grills and the speaker on before I install that panel into the cabinet. Save them for now. Maybe we will reuse them and just put a washer on them. All right, that looks like it for tonight. This thing is torn apart. As you can see, guys, it doesn't take very long to get these games apart, especially these. All right, so I'm getting ready to end this video. Next, we're gonna be doing the body work to the cabinet. Usual Bondo and stuff like that. I'll clean all this stuff up tomorrow. I'm not doing it tonight. It's 9:30 at night. I'm done. Somebody had sent me a message yesterday. I wasn't gonna say anything. Asked if I was interested in getting more views per video. I said, yeah, sure. Can I give you some advice? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Shouldn't have asked that. Sent me a big long paragraph of stuff that I should do differently. Make my lighting better, use a better tripod, use a microphone, which I agree to some of this stuff. I'm not like mad or anything like that. But then he's like, you know, you occasionally show your ass crack. Sorry, dude, I'm not like a skinny ass dude. I got a little bit of a gut. Sometimes when you bend over, your butt shows. Sorry. You know, and my shirt being sweaty. It's not necessary for me to show my shirt sweaty. Dude, I work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not in great clothes. I get sweaty. I bust my ass. I have no choice but to bust my ass. I'm a self-employed person. I don't just go to work and get paid just to go to work. I have to get stuff done. And that's how it works. I'm not into making world-class videos. That's not what my channel's about. I'm not trying to be like John from John's Arcade or Charlie from Overtime Arcade or Dell from Delusional. Not picking on them one bit. They do awesome videos, awesome editing. It's very well done. Me personally, I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the knowledge to do it. And I am not making a career out of YouTube. I am just simply making videos because I'm doing this stuff. Whether I'm making a video or not, I'm doing this work. I'm not doing this work to make videos. I'm doing the work and I'm making a video about it. Just to show people the average person can do any of this stuff. Rather than sending this stuff out or paying other people to restore your stuff for you, you can do it yourself. And I'm just trying to show people that there's always a way to do something yourself and save yourself a little money. I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting into making fancy videos and stuff. I just do me. I don't try to be like anybody else. Once again, I'm not knocking anybody whatsoever. Charlie is an awesome dude from Overtime Arcade. I talk to him all the time. John from John's Arcade was another good dude. But those guys are really good at editing and doing that kind of stuff. I'm not. That's not me. You know what I mean? That's just not who I am, which is fine. You know, everybody's different, you know. I'm just mainly wanting to just show people how to do stuff that I do. But that doesn't mean because the way I do it is necessarily the right way. It's just the ways that I found over the years to get it done quickly, because I have to get this stuff done fast. Everybody always comments like, oh, you'll have 6 cabinets done next week. Yeah, because I don't have a choice. I need to get this stuff done. This stuff can't sit around. You know, I don't have huge tens of thousands of square feet of shop. I have a big shop, you know, and it's going to be bigger here soon. But I can't let this stuff sit around. I got to get it in and get it done. And I don't have, you know, a week to edit one video. If I'm going to do this stuff, if you guys want to see it get done, I need to just video every single day, because if I don't do that, by the time I make the second video, the damn game's going to be done. So that's why I do it the way I do it. You know, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near perfect, by no means, but to be sweaty and my butt hanging out here and there, sorry guys, nothing I can do about it. It's part of work. I don't wear fancy clothes to make videos. This is me 7 days a week, every day, unless I'm going to dinner or something, or to a funeral or a wedding. Other than that, I'm in work clothes, because that's all I do is work, because I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. I don't care what anybody thinks about me as far as what I look like, what I have, what I don't have. None of that matters to me. What matters is restoring this stuff, bringing it back to what it was once again, and just trying to make my mark in this world by saving as much as I can before I die. That's my goal in life. As many cars as I can get done, as many arcade games as I can restore, whatever I touch. I just wanted to make it live on for the next person. That's all I'm after. You know what I mean? Do I do show car paint jobs? Yes. Do I do them often? No, I try not to do them anymore, because people are nuts and people are way too picky. And you know what? What good is it to have a car or an arcade game that is so overly restored that you don't want to touch it? You know, you don't want to play the game. I don't want to turn the game on, it might break. Screw that. I turn my freaking games on. I don't care. It could blow smoke out of it. I'll fix it. I'll figure out how to fix it. Same thing with a car. You know, my own personal vehicles, I don't go crazy on them. Yeah, I put nice paint jobs on them and nice parts and stuff, but I drive them, you know, like we drive our old cars to Good Guys in Columbus every summer. And that's, you know, we probably put 1,000 miles on them in a weekend, but we drive the crap out of them. They've broke down on the way there before, and we fix them on the side of the road. That's just how I am with life. You know, when I was young, everything had to be perfect, Everything, you know, had to be in its place. And the older you get, the more you start realizing, like, I could spend the rest of my life nitpicking the little dumb things, or I can get a bunch of stuff done really well, maybe not 100%, but way up there, better than most people would do, you know, for the most part, and enjoy it. And that's what I'm about. So, you know, nothing fancy here, guys. This is me. What I do on camera is what I do in real life, so nothing changes. So I'm just gonna keep recording the way I am. When I figure out another, I use my old iPhone as a camera to make my videos, and I use a video app to record them. But the problem is when I go to use a cordless microphone, it won't work. And I'm afraid what's gonna happen is if I do get it working on this, because it's an old phone, that it's gonna cut out and I'm gonna lose all my audio, and then I have to sit there for hours and do voiceovers and try to remember what I was talking about. So I will be getting another phone probably this summer that I'm just gonna use for you know, editing or making videos and stuff like that. I mean, this isn't a joke, guys. I literally have a flip phone. This is what I take when I leave the house. When I leave my house, all I have is a flip phone. I don't have internet. I don't have Facebook. I don't have emails. I don't have anything. I did this for a reason, because my phone was always blowing up and it drove me nuts. You know, I couldn't go and do something because my phone's ringing or buzzing the whole time I'm out somewhere. And I just got sick of it. And I said, you know what? I don't need that. So I turned my iPhone into my phone that I use for my camera. And I just been going about that like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is just buy another iPhone whether I buy one off eBay or I go somewhere and buy a new one. And I'll have to figure out a different video thing I can use, because this little app that I use, I record onto it, and then I can do my little bit of editing that I do, which doesn't take me more than 20 minutes to edit a video. As you guys can see, they're not fancy, nothing. The only thing I do different with editing is I just speed up the video here and there, and I throw a little music in there so you don't have to hear like really fast background noises. I could not put music in there, you know, and just turn the volume off, but that's all I do. Everything else is real life, guys. What you see is what you get. If something gets screwed up, I did it. You saw me do it. You know what I mean? Nothing is taken out. If I turn a game on, or if I, you know, turn the camera back on and say, all right, I'm ready to turn the game on, I didn't turn the game on before the camera turned on. I just turned it on, and whatever happens, happens. You know, I'd rather you guys see failures and mistakes than for me to edit all that stuff out. I want you guys to think that you're hanging out in my garage with me. I'm just a normal guy, nobody special. I just like to work, and I like to get a lot of things done. So I really appreciate everybody who watches. Good comments, bad comments, I take them all. I get it. Not everybody has to see eye to eye. Just because somebody emailed me and said comments like that, I'm not mad at them or anything like that. I get it. I'm not calling them out by any means. I'm just telling you I'm just different than most people. You know what I mean? And everybody's got their own opinion. Some people will like me, some people will hate me. I understand that. It's no different than in the real world, guys. I've worked 40 years as a carpenter, 38 years as a carpenter, working in $1 million houses and $500,000 houses, and getting treated like shit by clients, you know, and they're always right, you're always wrong. And to be honest with you, I don't care. You know why? Because I go home and I do what I want to do at the end of the day. And now that I'm getting into doing this full time, you know, it's going to get to the point where I'm not going to do cars for other people really soon here. Once the back building's done, probably a year or so after that, I'm going to do a little bit of carpentry work, part-time, 3 days a week for the next probably 2 years or so, to build some money back up, because last year I sat around for 4 months and I didn't make any money because of my knee surgery. This year I sat around for 4 months, made just about no money because of my knee again. So, you know, I spent a lot of time spending money out of my savings to live. And so I need to build that back up. And my goal is to buy my own vehicles, show the whole entire process from buying it, what I paid for it, to what I do to it, to what I put into it, to what I have into it when it's completely done, and what I sell it for. You know what I mean? So somebody can see how you can make money doing that. And same thing goes with arcade games. I'm not going to quit doing arcade games. You know, I think I will be doing more videos on my car channel once the back building's done than I will be doing on my arcade channel. I honestly will probably only be doing 2-3 videos a week on our arcade channel, and the car channel will probably be getting most of my focus as far as, you know, 5-6 videos a week, just because that's going to be my main income, you know, in the future here, is buying and selling cars, fixing them, you know. And I'm not going to be building those show cars that I'm going to sell. I'm going to make nice cars, I'm going to fix them the proper way, and I'm going to make them affordable for somebody who wants, like, let's say there's a guy had an 81 Camaro in high school and he wants one again, you know, but he doesn't have 50-60 grand to buy one, because that's outrageous. Who the hell is, I mean, I won't, even if I had the money, I wouldn't spend 50-60 grand on a car. But if I could sell it to him for 25-30 grand, half of that, and get a really nice car, why not? I think I can do really well doing that by staying to the middle to lower end of the bracket of restoration cars, but still do a nice job on them. I think I could really do well and help out a lot of people to be able to get maybe their dream vehicle, you know what I mean, or dream arcade game for that matter. You know, it just all depends on what somebody wants. So I'm gonna quit talking, guys. I really appreciate everybody, even the negative comments, positive comments. I like them all. I get it. I understand. Once again, no disrespect to John's Arcade or Overtime Arcade or Delusional. I think you guys do awesome work, all of you guys. I enjoy it. I watch all your guys' videos, so it's not like I don't or anything like that. But I just do things differently, and that's just me. So thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later.